I hope all the mobs are staying safe and prepared for the snowpocalypse coming. Raw men.
Yeah, everything's, I mean, I'm super prepared for everything. I think, I know some other people that are, like, not preparing enough, and I'm like, well, good fucking luck. You know? I have some friends that are like, they didn't do anything special. And not that you have to do anything crazy special, but just have a little extra, like, bottled water and stuff just to drink. You know what I mean? And they didn't do any of that. And they're like, I don't know. Good luck to them. Good luck to them. But I have everything I need. One of my cousins came here because she just lives in an apartment and her building is like terrible. Like they never turn the generator on. She was like, I'm 100% certain someone's pipes are gonna burst. You know, like everything. Um, so I told her to just come here. I was like, my spot's a bit better, so she doesn't have any pets or anything. You know, like she could just leave her shit at home. So she brought anything she needs to bring. She shut her water off as much as she can in her unit. Um, and she just left. She's just here. So I have an additional body in here for the weekend. Also got to check with one of my aunts has like she's basically a cat colony that she takes care of um that don't want to leave her little area. And they're very much city cats, but she has like the spot that they sleep. They actually stay at her place. They don't just like eat and leave. Um so I was telling her what to do to set stuff up, but I was also like, "Hey, I'm not like super close to her, but if she needs to, she can round them up and just bring them to me." I have an additional bathroom that I could set them up in and just leave them in, and so just in case. I don't think I'll end up with 5 cat roommates, but it's 5. It's 5. Actually, no, it's 6. It's the mom cat and her 5 kittens, but the mom cat will 100% stay with them. She goes inside. The kittens like come inside a little bit. They're trying to trap them and spay and neuter. So I might actually be like trying to adopt them out soon. But the cats and kittens, the mom likes to stay in their house occasionally. And they've been trying to get her used to it so they could maybe just fully adopt her and keep her in. But it's a slow process. And then in the middle of this process, this winter storm's happening, So I was like, maybe just let her take shelter inside. Maybe the kittens will do it too. And then, they'll be like, hey, it's pretty nice in here. And then you can just keep them in. Maybe. So we'll see. We'll see. Is the guest staying in the Matara suite? Yes. I have the Matara suite for like in and out guest room. And I have the other room that I converted to my friend's room basically whenever they stay over, which is like, little over half the time. They go to their parents on like weekends and stuff. Sometimes, but yeah. I'm running like a B&B now. my place has turned into a B&B at this point, with one like semi-perma resident and then one like room where I just have like family and friends coming in and out. But I like it. I don't like feeling like there's spots that are unused, So it's good. Ow. Sorry, I scratched myself. But yeah. Good to offer the support. Yeah, well, the friend that's staying here most of the time, got a job, like, in the city, but doesn't really live in the city. They live with their parents kind of outside of the city. And the commute was getting really bad, you know, like, or just really weighing on them. And I was like, hey, you could just, like, I have this room. If you're mostly just crashing and you don't need, like, a whole house, you know, you don't need a whole suite or whatever, you're totally welcome to, like, set this up for yourself and just stay here whenever you need. Like, I don't care, you know? So they pay a little bit. I undercharge them. They keep trying to pay me more. And I'm like, no. Girl, no. So they just, like, stay here most of the time and then go home on a lot of weekends, or sometimes their schedule's flipped and, like, they work weekends and then their weekend is, like, Monday through Wednesday, stuff like that. It's very fluid, so I was like, yeah, whatever. And then if I ever go somewhere and I need a cat sitter, now I have a built-in cat sitter, which helps me because I don't like someone just coming in and, like, feeding them occasionally and that's it. I like someone actually staying with them and sleeping here because they're so used to that, you know. And they genuinely get really stressed if I'm gone for a long period of time. But they don't mind if someone else is here. So I was like, hey, you're actually really helping me out, so I won't charge you much. You just occasionally cat sit for me when I go visit family and stuff, and then, you know, stay here whenever you want, because it's a room I'm not even using anyway, and there's a little bathroom that they can use. They don't even have to share mine if they don't want to, and, you know. So it all works very nicely. Very, very nicely. You do that with your brother's dogs? Yeah, I much prefer pet sitting being, like, a thing where they actually stay with them 24/7 if they can. So. Ew, your friend drives from Rialto to West LA every day. It's miserable. Ugh, yeah, I mean, it's just where their parents' house is very, like, it's train accessible, but they work weird hours. Like, really, really early morning, late night, and then are here, like, during the day, sleeping or putzing around. And so the train schedules get a bit weird. If you don't live subway accessible and you're out using Amtrak or using, like, any of the railroads that extend out from the subway system, if you have to travel in at 3 a.m., you know, or whatever, like the train service is not that good at those hours. It's infrequent. So her commute would be like, you know, go in at, take that last 2 a.m. train in, but you need to be at work at 4 or 5. So you travel in and then you spend a bunch of time sitting around because that's the last train, because there's a train at, like, 2 and a train at 5 where they're from. You know what I mean? So there's, like, this big gap. So one is too early and one is too late. So they would always take the early train before work when they had those types of hours and just be, like, sitting there. So that's why I was like, hey, like, actually just stay here. You know, like, it's just so bad. But yeah, so that's why I was like, fuck it, I'll turn my extra space into, like, a B&B. I don't really have, like, a big space. It's not a huge place, as far as, like, living room, and I don't have a dining room, you know, like, all that kind of stuff. but it does have like extra bedrooms, which I kind of hate. I would rather have like a couple of big rooms than a lot of small rooms, but that's just how floor plans are, especially in the city. So I was just like, fuck it, whatever. You know, maybe I'll use them. And I ended up not really using them for anything except like cats could hang out in there. So it's easy to just put a person in there. Ugh, my nose. Sorry, I'm like wiping my nose, dude. I'm so ugh. You have a big room in your place, but then don't make use of all the space. Yeah, I actually did. I have a like master bedroom that's like pretty big, and then I have other bedrooms that are very small, very very small. And what I did was I set up one of the smaller rooms to be my bedroom because the only thing I do in my bedroom is sleep. I don't have anything in there. So like all I have is a bed and some clothing in that room, and I sleep in it and get changed in it, and there you go, you know. And then the master bedroom I turned into my office because this is where I do everything. So the room I'm in actually has like my attached bathroom that's the clean bathroom, the one where like I won't let anyone use that toilet ever. it's the it's the bathroom for showering and skincare and all that stuff, but like no toilet usage. I ban it. I have that one attached to this room. And honestly, really nice, really good move. I now do not understand why people want big bedrooms. Now that I'm in here, I'm like, why would you ever want a big bedroom? I think the only time I can understand it is if you're a parent maybe and you need a room away from like the kids. You need like your own space that is purely yours to decompress, so you want to like have space in there. I think then I get it. But I don't know. Just control them or something. That's the only use case where I like think it makes sense. Also, if you got a big bed. Yeah, but like the other rooms are small, but I can still put a big bed in them. I just don't have like a lot of other furniture, you know? I have a big bed. I have a queen size bed. It's in my bedroom. And there's enough space to walk on either side of it. And at the end of the room, I have dressers. And there's a closet attached to it. And that's it. There's nothing else. There's 2 dressers in there. And that's all I need. There's like just enough walking space on either side that I can walk on either side without like having to sidle through, you know? So it's not a huge room, but it's big enough for that. It's like this, it's the second biggest bedroom that's in here, and then the other 2 are like closets. I could not fit my bed in the other 2. So I like my house when I first bought it, but I want something smaller. The great room is a bit too great. Oh, dude, one of my family members, they moved out of it and downsized. They used to have this house that they built themselves. Like they hired a builder and they drew up their own floor plan and had an architect go over it and just like shore it up. And that's what they lived in. And the great room was fucking huge. It was the size of like 4 living rooms. It was enormous. And they were like, "We don't want separate rooms. We just want one big thing, and that's where we do everything." So that, a dining room and a kitchen. And they were all like semi-connected. They had like big open doorways to each. And then one hallway off the side with some bedrooms, and that's it. And it was like this huge fucking, it was bigger than any house I had ever been in, or unit I had ever been in, more so. Because I'm like used to like the city, you know? But they basically just had like a giant rectangle. And as I was in it, I was like, this is how I design my Sims houses. Like this is literally how I make my Sims homes. But I really liked it. I really, really, really liked it. And I wish when they left that house, I wish at the time I had the money to buy it. I also don't want to be suburban though. So, you know. But it was so nice. And I have their architectural documents. So if I ever wanted to just build a replica of it, I just have that shit. I just have it. So big room would be good for an energetic pet. Yeah, what they did was they had their furniture set up like it's a big square. It's a big square. And they had walkways behind the furniture. So it was nice because the couches were like several feet away from the walls and you'd walk behind. So they segmented the room with furniture placement. So it wasn't like everything was placed in that big square in a square shape and there was empty space in the middle too much. It was more so like pieced out by the way they designed it. And it was just, this family member was just insanely good at design in general. Like just someone who had like really, really, really good taste and understood how to like design a space properly. So she placed the furniture in the room to create a couple of zones and did it so cleverly. And it was nice because then whenever we would go over there, all of the family members could be in the same room but doing different things in these separate little spaces within this room. And it is through her that I learned the power of rugs. Rugs in a space and rug placement. Because if I threw a bunch of shit in a room, it would look like shit. She threw a bunch of shit in a room, but then arranged it in a way with like rugs separating each space that it felt like separate rooms. You know what I mean? And I was like, wow. I don't I just put a couch down and call it a day, you know? So now I understand. Now I understand. Hold on, I gotta blow my nose. Oh, okay. I'm typing back and forth to a friend, by the way. I'm helping them understand some legalese. If you hear me typing every now and then, I'm trying to help someone understand some things without them disclosing like specific information to me because I don't want that. So I'm just helping define some terms for them, so they don't have to pay for more lawyer hours to do these simple things. Not trying to be anyone's lawyer, though. But just, I always have friends message me. All these little one-off questions. Different friends always be like, what does this word mean? Can I do this if this says this? But it's so hard when I can't actually read, like, legal docs, you know? But I'm also, like, not allowed to be privy to other people's shit, so. I try to help where I can, but I always tell people, hey, just hire somebody, please. Thank you. You know. Oh, sorry, I was another nose blowing. Fuck it, become a lawyer. Fuck no. I think, okay, I'm gonna be so real with you. A lot of the worst lawyers in this space are people who were content creators or in like some sort of other adjacent thing relating to all of this stuff first and then got their bar license because they, quote, want to help out. I'm sorry, but some of them may be very capable. Some of them may end up capable, but a lot of the worst ones are the ones who do that. And if you see anyone in this space who is like offering legal advice or is like, I'm a lawyer or whatever, but they came not from law school initially, not from that as their main thing. They came from like this space, entertainment or content or anything adjacent to it, esports, whatever. If you see anyone who does that and then becomes a lawyer, I wouldn't recommend them. There are some times where those people actually can be good, but generally, if law was not their passion, if they just got their bar license later to help, a lot of the time those people end up being just terrible to work with. And if you see someone who's a lawyer, but yeah, their main thing is being a content creator, or they complain about not having money or something, but then they're also like, yeah, let me help you with law stuff. I'm sorry. You should never be a solid lawyer and also be having this trouble. Like, that's fucking impossible, all right? Like, what? What? Run, dude. Turn and run if you ever see that. And a lot of these people are like, I just want to help. And I actually believe them when they say that. I just think they also really want to make money and they're not good at their main job, so, you know.
Yo. It's your boy
Yo.
Lawyer Gaming coming at you with another hot contract.
What's up, YouTube? Yeah, I've had my own experiences of people that I've not directly hired myself, but just dealt with where I'm like, holy fuck, these people are clueless. I should never, ever feel like I would do a better job at someone else's job. I should never feel like that. You know? If you're struggling as a lawyer, what the fuck are they doing? I know, that's what I'm saying. You ever see anyone beg on Twitter and be like, oh man, money's so hard, I don't have any money, but they're also like a lawyer, allegedly? Like, something's wrong. Those don't go together. Those do not. They get paid by hour usually, and their billing hours are insane. And there might be the occasional YouTube lawyer that actually is all right. Some of them just did the work for a while and then were like, I want to do something more fun, so now I'll do YouTube. They're not all bad. They're not all bad. It's just a reason to be very wary, you know? Just be careful going into it. Legal fees for simple things are in 5 digits. Right. That's what I'm saying. Ooh, you know one that does all of his work pro bono for charity, so he makes his money off making YouTube videos about TTRPGs. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's some that, like, there will always be exceptions. There will always be ones that actually, like, do all right. But also them doing stuff pro bono is, like, a better sign, you know? For sure. For sure. Also, if you see spelling errors in a contract that you're handed, little typos and stuff that are still left there by the time it gets to you, this means 2 things. Number 1, they don't check their shit. Number 2, they don't even have a paralegal to check their shit. Which is like... Run. No proofreader, run. I understand some contracts are long. Usually these are like 3 pagers, 5 pagers, 10 pagers, like nothing crazy. But like, yeah, if you see stuff like that, fucking run, dude. Because it doesn't mean that they're always like the most incapable necessarily, even every time. But if they don't check stuff over, maybe you should find someone else. Yeah, I'd forgive it if it's super long. But if you're in the entertainment industry and they give you a contract that's like 4 pages and it has multiple spelling errors, I'm sorry. What are you doing? What are you doing? I've seen that quite a few times. Anyway. But yeah, just keep... I feel bad. I keep helping friends, like, with all these different things over the past couple years. But none of them can actually send me their real legal documents, you know? If I'm not, like, NDA'd with them or something. So, like... I have to, like, help as much as I can without actually making them, like, reveal anything to me, you know what I mean? So it's just, like... answering vague questions or being like, this is what this term means. Yes, you can do this in California. No, you can't do that in California. Right? Like, man, guys, I cannot tell you how much I wish California was not a 2-party consent state for recording. I wish it was not. I wish it was not, because I would have recorded fucking everything I could have ever recorded, but it is a state, this is usually state level, is a state where both all people must know and consent to being recorded if you're gonna do that for like meetings and stuff. But I love recording meetings just so I don't have to like necessarily perfectly note take, so I can be present and listen, you know? So I love being able to do that. So, does 2-party cover crossing state lines though? Typically the one of more severity. So like, if you're, you know, somewhere where, if you're in a state where it only requires 1 party, and then you're on a call with someone where their state requires 2-party, then you have to go with the 2-party laws and rules. But it also depends, because if you sued them in your state, you might be able to use it. They might let you admit it to court. But if they're in California and you're like, I have a recording of them saying this crazy thing, but they never consented to it, you never had them on recording saying, yes, you may record me, you know, stuff like that, then you can't admit it to court. Can't use it even if you have it. So, you know. Yeah, that's why people do business there. Yeah. But I love stuff like that for note-taking during meetings, so I don't know. Oh, well. I know it's cynical, but it seems very much engineered to facilitate white-collar crime. Yeah, no, I think it's more so because it's fucked up to have people just recording everything you say without you knowing. Like, it's one thing if you're in a professional environment, but it's more so to protect people on the personal level. Where, like, you know, if you're talking to someone about your deep feelings and you're having a vulnerable moment and maybe admitting some stuff that you did in the past that was bad, but it's not, like, criminal or whatever, someone could still record you and then, like, use it as a character assassination, right? When you're just kind of venting feelings or something. Right? Like, stuff like that is kind of spooky. But, I personally do think it's good, though, for other cases, like, if you live with someone and that person's, like, abusive and you want to secretly record it so that you could show it in court. If you live in a two-party consent state, they might not always allow you. Sometimes if it's, like, something super criminal occurred, they might allow it. But not always. It's still very gray area and it depends on a lot of circumstance, you know? So it's kind of like, yeah, it's hard to prove otherwise, exactly. So that's why I'm like, both of these make sense. Allowing it and not allowing it makes sense. Or maybe allowing it but not allowing it for certain types of cases, certain types of allegations, right? Two-party consent doesn't protect criminal acts. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying it's more so about, like, character assassination, right? That's the kind of stuff. Like, stuff that's gray area, you don't want them to use. You only want them to be able to use it if it's, like, 100% definitive. You know? Yeah, exactly, karate, exactly. I love note takers like that, though, when you're doing some kind of work meeting. And you've got a thing that just records and transcribes for you. It is so useful because then you can actually pay attention during the meeting. If you're trying to take your own notes, sometimes it really takes you out of listening to what someone's saying, which is really shitty. So, I don't know. Is Fathom at your office? Yeah, I've used Fathom before. Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, Discord added that with the clipping enabled thing. Yeah, they did, which is nice. I prefer that, honestly, because I don't... Like, if I hopped into a VC and someone used the clip feature and I didn't know, and I was, like, not a streamer, right? I'm just, like, hanging out in a VC somewhere. Like, it would just feel super invasive to think you're not being recorded, and then, boom, a clip of you appears, and you're like, what? Especially when you're just vibing, because Discord is usually used by people just to hang out, you know? It's not always, like, a professional thing or a streamer thing. It's usually people just gaming. So, I like that they added that. Yeah, you can turn it off. You can make it so it's just, like, disabled entirely. 100%. Clippers clipping out of context, yeah. Yep. That is how it is. Google Docued. No, dude. You know what I hate the most? You know what I cannot stand? Something that I'm seeing happen before my eyes. Or have seen happen before my eyes so many times. Is when people are in a situation that where they've done wrong. And you can tell by the way they type DMs and the way they tweet and stuff that they're aware that they did wrong. They're aware people might call them out at some point. So they start doing, like, the setup. You know what I mean? They start sending messages to people that are worded in a way so that if they get screenshotted, they can point at it and be like, no, because something, something. You ever see that? I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. People do this also, like, not even in the public eye. They just do this in, like, friend groups and stuff. They start, like, doing the setup early. Yeah, the damage control. Dude. Sometimes people get, yeah, forging an alibi. Yeah. They think they're, like, slick, and they start trying to, like, DM you things in a certain way so that they can screenshot it and then be like, but I said this, though, so I'm absolved. You know what I mean? There's been some situations, like, the past year where, someone's done wrong by someone else. And they send a message that is, like, worded. It feels like a lawyer wrote it. It's, like, the most carefully crafted thing. They usually inject a lot of emotion into it. So if you still are like, hey, you did this wrong thing, they're like, I can't believe you pointed out this wrong thing I did because I'm sad right now and I've been sad. And you can't do that to me. You know what I mean? Like, they, like, do the setup. And I'm like, brother, come on. Come on, dude. Just be like, my fucking bad. I fucked up. I'm gonna try. Can I have some time to try? I should have tried earlier. That's correct. Like, that's all you have to say. Yeah, they're going for the mitigation strat. Oh, man. It's emotionally traumatic for me to get called out like this, have a heart. Oh my god, yeah. Using mental health. Mental or physical, oh my god. I had someone who, was supposed to be doing an art thing for me. And they kept saying, like, they kept pushing it back or being like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I didn't do it yet. Or, oh, I've been working on it. And I was like, okay, can you send me whips of what you got so far, even if it's, like, early sketches? And then they'd be like, yeah, sure, hold on. And then an hour would pass, and then they send me a sketch that they clearly did within that last hour. And I was like, all right, let me just see how long they'll keep this up. So I kept DMing it. Like, I would check in once a month. I had already hired someone else to do the work at that point, so I was just going to see if they were going to do it, you know? And they started, like, faking illness. They had, like, some sort of actually real condition that was super low grade. And they were acting like it was, like, making them unable to do anything. And I was like, you're streaming, like, 3 days a week. And you're posting pictures of yourself doing things. And you're DMing people all the time. And you are doing other projects that require your hands to move. So, you know, somehow I think your little thingy isn't, like, making you unable to work. But then you can't say that because then they'll be like, oh, you don't understand my condition. You know what I mean? And the thing is, you genuinely don't. Like, it's not something you can prove. They're just saying shit and you're saying shit. And it's just like, okay. But, like, okay, so do the work or say, I can't. Like, admit that you can't, you know? That person 100% took my money. And I eventually got them to give the money back. I said, keep, you know, hey, you provided, like, the sketch. Keep this fee for the sketch. And then give me back, like, this amount. And I won't go public. That's what I said. Because it's not like we had an NDA. I was like, if you don't do this, I'm just going to post about it. And then they were like, I can't believe you'd fucking do this. And then they shit talked to me to other people. And I was like, sorry for expecting you to do the work that's in your own TOS, dude. My bad. I read your TOS and really thought that you wrote those words thinking that you'd do it or something. I'm so sorry, dude. my fucking bad, bro. MB? Crazy. At least it wasn't like a contractual written down thing. There were no NDAs, so I was, like, very able to just talk about it. I think the worst is when stuff like this happens, but all parties are under NDA, so it's hard for one to go public. That's the worst part. That was kind of my situation in the past. Somewhat. But I was able to talk about whatever I could as much as possible. And just let you guys fill in the blanks where you want, because, you know, I'd said what I could. There's still stuff that I'd love to say, but I'm just like, I'm gonna be good about, I've said enough. I'm gonna be good about like the NDA itself, the stuff that's actually like proprietary or whatever. But anything that looks bad, I promise you, if I could peel the NDA back, looks a billion times worse without that NDA. You know what I mean? And there's some stuff that isn't NDA, but it's just like personal stuff for people that I just am like, I'm not trying to character assassinate. I'm just trying to like right a wrong. So do I really need to say that thing or that other thing? You know? How long does that NDA last? Get this, forever. Until a certain scenario, however. There's no time limit, but there's a certain scenario that I could argue. The problem is I could still be taken to court. I'd have to argue it. I would win, very likely. But I'd have to argue it. But I could absolutely argue that it's no longer valid because of certain scenarios no longer being the case. So there's that. Is that the normal way NDAs work? Stashi, I'm not gonna switch while I'm talking about like contract stuff. But I feel you. I'm aware of it. Is that the normal way NDAs work or is this a special case? Oh, it depends. It depends. They usually have time limits. I would say it's very standard for an NDA to have a time limit. When you get into a job, a lot of my former work had like 5 or 10 year NDAs. There were some that were forever, but it was like certain information is forever. Like you can never disclose like our proprietary info. But like generally just talking about your experience or that you worked on this or like anything like that, that's totally fine after, the normal time period. So a lot of NDAs will have like stuff like that. It depends on what industry you're working in and what you're doing, but it can all change. I mean, anything anyone wants to write in an NDA, they just can. So. Does it not dissolve when the group you sign is completely dissolved? No. No, NDAs also, that's something I want to note because I keep seeing people saying stuff. Contracts and NDAs often survive past a company closing. And it depends on how it's written. Some of them are written to specifically not, and some of them are specifically written to survive beyond an org or a business, whatever. So even if a business closes, those papers still exist. They don't just get burned. There might be some things that are no longer really going to be valid because of the way things are written, scenarios, etc. But there might be other things that it just doesn't matter. It's just forever, right? So I keep seeing people like spread a lot of misinfo on that, especially in the entertainment industry, because a lot of streamers themselves don't understand this stuff. And they'll be like, oh, my company is gone now, so I could say whatever I want. And I'm like, actually, no. You're still leaving yourself open. Now, will they actually do the thing? I don't know. They might not, which is why some people come out unscathed. But like, a singular person could come into money later, 5 years later, and then you're still talking about whatever things, so they just like inject their own money to cover legal fees, and then you know what I mean? Like it's just it's possible. And if people get petty, like they always assume they could. Always assume they could. Yeah, Jordan, it is. It is. That's the thing, is like, even if you think something's right and your contract says something, it is up to the judge to judge the situation. They're not just judging based off of the piece of paper. They're following the piece of paper as much as they can. But they are always able to adjust a little in ways that fit the justice of the situation. And they'll still stick within very strict confines of what the contract says, whatever. But when something criminal has happened or someone is doing something purposefully, whatever, there is a little wiggle room to sway things in the way that they think is fair for the situation. So even if you think you're right, you know, when you take something to court, there's no thing in your paper that says this doesn't go to court, this actually just does this or does that, you know. When you actually have to take something to court, there's always now other opinions being interjected, and it could be vibe based, right? Like, you hope it's not, but stuff like that can happen. So yeah, and things aren't always entirely fair. They're just by the paper as much as possible, you know. So even if someone absolutely morally wronged someone else, if the paper says X, then the paper says X, right? So have to talk to your lawyer often? Occasionally we do, but like, I'm gonna be honest with you, there's nothing to talk about. We have no updates or anything. I have nothing to tell you. I told you guys, you know, if I have something new, I'll tell you, but... Or something new that's also relevant to you guys, I'll let you know, but... Nothing. I've had one update in the past, like, almost half year. maybe 5 months, 4 months. I've had one update that wasn't pushed by me. And that was the one that I already let you guys know about because the merch stuff is relevant to you. So the only update I've had was that there's still the tiny chance, like, they intend to maybe have me get that merch back. Or, you know, cover the fees to the place that's holding it to release it finally, maybe. Whether or not that will actually happen, I severely doubt it. But that was the update that I gave you previously already. A while back. That was the only update I've gotten. Other than that, nothing. Nothing at all. Justice be slow. I think you guys have a very different idea of what's happening on the back end than what's actually happening. I won't say anything in particular because there might be some people who are doing things that I don't know about or whatever. Everything should be kept very private. And I can't really comment too much on some stuff that has gone on or been explored or whatever. But I will just say, I am deeply unsatisfied, as you guys know, with how the aftermath has been. And I wish it was very different. But a lot of hands are tied in certain ways. So, that's really all I can say on that. And there's a lot of things from the aftermath that have been very surprising that things are turning out certain ways or not others or blah, blah, blah. There's a lot where I'm genuinely like, what the fuck? Like, there's no way XYZ, but, you know, it is what it is. Very glad I bought the 8 keycaps in secondary order after my keychain order was delayed for a month. Yeah, I felt bad because someone the other day, I posted my YouTube video. Go watch it, by the way. I got me on screen now. Someone posted on my YouTube video a comment, and they were like, the way they worded it, I could tell they really misunderstood, like, what was even going on. Let me find it. I think I replied to them. Because I wanted to give them a good faith answer. What did they say? Hold on, I gotta scroll. I gotta scroll. There's something about the merch. Oh, here it is. Oh, Taga, thank you for the 10. Thank you for the 10. They said, when are going to refund the money for merch? I'm still waiting, and it's been more than half a year. I don't think they understand the situation. I think there's someone who watches on YouTube, but like maybe didn't see the clips and didn't watch the streams. They said, your mods prevent reaching out to you directly, but the support said to contact you guys. What's up with that? I just think this person's a little lost. So I gave them a good faith reply. But just in case any of you think the same, just in case, I wanted to make sure I said it. So the money for merch that was done for the Inquisitor drop and the Monster Hunter drop, all of that was taken in by Vshoujo. None of it went straight to me ever. I was never paid a cent of any of that. I have not been paid by them at all in like well over a year, basically. So yeah, I never saw any of it. I was able to get like one or two things covered by sending invoices to them for like art related things, so you could consider that maybe like from my account, maybe question mark. But nothing was ever handed directly to me, therefore I never had liquid funds from that stuff. So if I wanted to refund you guys, I kind of couldn't. Also, the issue is I don't have access to the backend system to know who bought what they paid, how to send the payment back to them. I cannot click a button to refund. Like I that has never been under my purview. So yeah, just reiterating that. Just reiterating that, because I saw the comment and I was like, oh, there might be still some people who like don't know. Not everyone watches every stream, but yeah, I've never had the ability to touch any of that, and I probably never will. That's the one thing I have been hoping for out of all of this still, is like if I could ever get that information back, maybe I could do something. I don't know. But yeah, you told us almost 8 damn months ago to reach out to our banks. Refunds are not on you. I did let you guys know that I had low confidence that anything would be repaid or refunded or even sent out. So yeah. I did my best, and I tried to move as quickly as I could without, like, as soon as I had that low level of confidence, as soon as I felt that way, I let you guys know. So, and said whatever I could within NDA and reason and all that, you know? Mods are helpful during this. Yeah, we had a whole process for that stuff. I still have transcripts of all of the old tickets just in case. So anyone who did open a mod ticket to share info of like, hey, I ordered this and I never got it. Because originally we were taking those in thinking that we were going to get the merch and then we would have to distribute. And like incur that cost. I have all the tickets from that time still, just in case anything ever moves. So there is that, but I need the backend data to verify, and I need the physical stuff anyway, or the funds from it, or something to rectify it. So, and literally all of that is out of my hands. Never has been in my hands, so is what it fucking is, right? I think that's the thing I'm so most upset about. I don't know if any of you can do anything about it directly. If any of you can, like, it's not worth going after them for a, you know, like a $40 item or something like that, but I was always curious about that. If, like, you could collectively do something, but I don't know how that sort of thing works. And I wouldn't necessarily say you should or anything like that, because yeah, that's sweet $0. Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't know if they actually have $0 or not. I have no idea what their bank looks like. I have no idea what their funds actually look like. All I know is what they said. So, even that's an assumption. That's not even a confirmed thing. I keep seeing people say something bankrupt, whatever. I don't know. I don't know what the truth of any of it is. I just tell you what I can. You know? Interesting question. Yeah, it's more so not because I want anyone to do anything, but more so like the curiosity just on how that works is there because I've never thought about that. You know? You can still be bankrupt with money. Yeah, well, there's also like the liquidation and things like that, but no bankruptcies happened. So there's that too. What happened is people left. That's it. I don't even know everyone's exact status. I know some people that 100% are like, yes, I'm gone. My contract is over, blah, 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 or whatever. I don't actually have confirmation on literally every person or anything like that. I just know what people have said, like, publicly or to me directly. So I don't even know. Like, I'd have to be like, show me your termination thing or something like that. Imagine if they try to restart. I highly doubt that. Unless someone else, unless they, like, sold it off to someone else or something, but I don't think the existing people would have, it's too tarnished. It's like, you know, that'd be crazy. Probably can't even afford a lawyer. I have no comment on that. Only people taking legal action would even have an idea. Yes and no, because you also have to, like, request a lot of stuff, and that stuff has to get provided. And a judge has to be like, yes, you have to do this, or like an audit gets launched. It's a whole process. It's so much beyond, like, you know, what I've got. Where I was just like, okay, bye. I'm outie. You know? It's not like I left and then they were like, by the way, here's a document with all of our finances, just so you know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why would they do that? I became aware of some things later, but even then it's hard to verify what is and isn't true. I know some things that are true, but, like, you know. Yeah, you have to submit documents for discovery months and months in advance. Yeah, exactly. And then it takes all that time, and then during that time, you have to verify that all that stuff is true and real. And then you have to pour through all of it, and it takes a long time. But, I don't know. Can you obtain a financial document under the FOIA? I don't think you can FOIA that like that. That's not exactly how FOIA works. FOIA is more so, when you do that request, it's from a government thing. But, like, this is a private company, so you can't just, like, imagine if you could just FOIA any company, dude. That'd be crazy. But no, you FOIA, like, the government. You know? That'd be sick. It's sick in, like, for some things, but then really bad for others. I'd like your phone number, please, ma'am. FOIA. Yeah, exactly, dude. Imagine. Give me your information now. You're being FOIA'd. Now. That's crazy. The only way to get private docs is to sue and then request discovery. That's not cheap. Yeah, exactly. It's a whole process, and the amount of money it would cost to sue and then go over all of that stuff is very expensive. And then that's also rolling the dice to see if there is money to get. Because that discovery would let you then know if there is money. And then if you find out there really isn't, or there isn't much, then, well, great, you just spent money to find out that there's no money for you to get. You know what I mean? So, it's all a very, weird process. But that's how it could turn out, you know? And look, I've spent so much just getting my normal stuff figured out and finished up and wrapped up last year. I don't need to be, like, further in the hole, man. You know? No thanks. No thanks. I don't know if your Xbox can lose or stupid movie shoujo did have so much potential. I know, and that's why like my goal the whole time was to try and do videos with everyone, because I was like, this shit could be really good. The reason why it's not is because no one knows what we're doing. That's kind of the conclusion I came to. Because I think when everything launched, remember there were all these like teaser videos with like 3D motion graphics and things like that. Whenever anything new would launch, we'd have like all this stuff, and this was before I was there. And it got people so hyped, right? So hyped and so excited for it. And it was just like smart media and marketing. And then they didn't really do anything with the group channel, but occasionally post a mini highlight and some shorts of individual members. They didn't like, they never sat us down to make like group content together or anything. And I was like, brother. And I would look at that, and then I would look at, what's a good example? I would look at something like OTV, where they have a group channel, and they do content that they sit down and film together, and then also do their own thing, and it doesn't take them much time. And I was like, why at the very least are we not doing that to establish, like, hey, you know, we're here, we exist, we do stuff. So I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, it had so much potential. Like, it did, but even if, like, there was still a ton of money, there's still so many missteps that I think would it still would have not done that well, if that makes sense, you know? Yeah, they always felt like indies that were kind of corpo. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And I was trying to like get us doing some different stuff, but you know. So mouse isn't on the banner of the website, as if they were going to continue running after everything. Dude, can you imagine that? They I was taken off the site. Zen was taken off the site. And then Mouse did her thing and she was taken off the site. And I was like, are we really, like... are we really not just, like, freezing for a second? We're actually individually taking people off the site still? Like, you're paying someone to do this task? Like, there might have been maybe a thought or chance. At some point, you could tell they stopped because other people were declaring they were leaving and they didn't take all of those off the site, you know? But it was just... I just remember looking at it and I was like, someone's actually sitting there having to click this and do this. I don't know. And I knew who used to run it, but that person wasn't with them anymore, so I think someone else was like, just like trying to do the thing. I don't know. Someone had to sit there and edit the image of all of our images together and like take certain people out of it and like redo the arrangement of it. Which I understand with me leaving. Because I didn't really have anything to go like nuclear off of like that, you know? And I understood with Zen leaving, but like with Mouse, I was like, what? Why? It was funny, man. I don't know, that it's like that bit makes me laugh a little bit. You know. Alfie, hello, I'm sick. Do you hear me? Hope stream was good. Hope stream was good. Hope stream was great. And lovely and wonderful. Oh, I gotta sneeze again. Oh, I breathed in for you, now I'm like, it'll go away. It'll go away. It's one of those things where you feel like you're gonna sneeze, but then it's gonna run away from you. It's doing it. Ugh. Anyway, I'm streaming today and not Sunday. I usually stream Sundays. I'm streaming today and not tomorrow because we're getting that insane winter storm. It's gonna come through here. New York area tonight. In a few hours, it's gonna start snowing. Snow will sneeze all over us. And I figured I should probably not stream tomorrow in case my power does get knocked out. Also because I have a sponsor today. It's a game I've actually been sponsored to play before and then continued and I really liked. So they were like, hey, we're doing DLC. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll play it again. I'll play the DLC, because I really liked the game. So.
Needed a warm snert for the soul.
Snert. A little snert. Your tri-state as well. Yeah, 18 inches. Oh god. Yeah, I think I might get up to a foot. But the they're like, oh, could be anywhere from 8 inches to like fucking 5 billion. So, you know, we'll see. Because it's really hard when you're in New York, like when the storms hit where we are, and then they hit those winds coming in from the coasts. There's just like no way to really properly predict how long the storm is going to stay over us and dump stuff on it, or if the wind is going to push it upward a little quicker. So our forecasts are just like historically have always been like that, where they're like, yeah, 6 to 500 inches of snow, you know? So that's just that's pretty typical. It's pretty normal. So we'll see what happens. Mayor said between 3 to 16 inches. I gave him a hell yeah. Yeah. Yep. He said, you taught chat about ADHD and autism and routine and schedules. Let's go, Alfie. Alfie's one of the people who has like various issues like that, who handles them super well. Has like a very like regimented way of making sure that she's like doing what she needs to do, which I think is really admirable. I would take Alfie's advice on that stuff, 100%. I know a lot of people with those types of issues that like are still figuring it out, but I feel like Alfie's nothing's perfect, but she's got it pretty figured out. So down south we probably won't get much snow, but everything's gonna ice over. Yeah, it's the freezing rain and the ice accumulation that's gonna be the problem, right? Because it's gonna weigh down. Oh, actually, something I want to mention. We were talking about the storm the other day. Obviously, the ice can weigh down power lines and stuff and cause an issue, but it can also weigh down trees and tree branches. If you have a large tree on your property or something nearby that could like fall, just be so aware of it. If there's anything you can do to prepare, please do. I know some people that have tied bungee cords that kind of got a ladder, went up into a tree and tied bungee cords around like certain branches that could hit their house, and just made it so that the bungee cord, if that thing like snaps or whatever, it'll snap a little higher up because of where the bungee cord is placed, or it'll like fall slightly differently or something like that. You can even just duct tape it. Duct tape is good too, because at least the duct tape holding onto it for a second while it falls will kind of like break the fall a little bit, just a tiny bit. You should probably like undo that afterward. but it'll help if you have like no way to really do anything crazy right now. You might still be able to just go and like duct tape that shit a little bit to at least soften that fall. You know? Now, obviously, if it's really high up, it's high up, but yeah. Yep. If you get an inch of ice that turns into hundreds of thousands of pounds on a tree, Yep. Thankfully, where I am, the trees are mostly like really low, but there are a few large trees on the blocks nearby and stuff, so I'm kind of like, we'll see. I watched people the other day just like bungee cord up a bunch of them. There's one guy that like lives nearby that has a cherry picker because of like his work. He owns a business and he just like, you know, needs one, so he brought it out and he went down the block with neighbors and they just like they just bungee corded or taped up like everything that was major, and I was like, wow, look at that. Look at that. So I like living in neighborhoods where people like act like neighbors and shit, you know? That's nice. Because like, you know, a little branch falling could be, oop, it fell on the ground. But when all the buildings are really close together, it could be like, oh, it went through a roof. Oop, it went through a window and killed somebody. Oop, it blew up your car. You know? It could be really bad. And those machines are called cherry pickers. I don't know if I think there are other words for them too, but I was called a cherry picker. Gonna get the apple tree shakers and put them on your trees. Dude, have you ever witnessed an olive harvest? That specialized machine that grabs the olive tree and vibrates it back and forth, and they put all the netting out. I have had the experience of laying out the netting multiple times. Sitting there and helping lay out all the netting to catch all the olives, and then watching the thing go just and like shake the tree. They do that with nuts in California. Yeah. It's just a way to get like tree-based stuff off easily. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Did olive picking yourself? Yeah, I mean, like, you can pick them. Olive trees aren't really, like, it's not hard to pick the olives off, but you could also hook it up to a thing that just shakes the fuck out of it. You could. Yeah, make with the goods. That's what I'm saying. Here, olive harvest. Let me see if I can find pictures of all the nets on the ground. Well, they're not always on the ground. Sometimes you hang them a little bit. You can also just, like, you don't need the big machine. You can just, like, smack it. Yeah. That's a good picture.
I have never seen someone more disappointed than a storm chaser when you tell them it's a snowstorm. Faction redeems chat.
So true. Here. You do it like this. You, like, lay the net out under the tree. And then you just start, like, tearing. You could even do this with your hands, but this way you don't have to carry them. You just drop them. You just grab them off, or you use a little grabber to, like, pick at them, and you just drop them. And pick them up at the end and then process it. But what they do is sometimes they'll lay these out all over the place, and then they'll have a machine that's got like two forks, or two forked, you know, prongs on the end. And it'll grab onto the tree and just shake it. It'll vibrate the tree, and it goes, and then it drops all the olives. That's one way to do it. Use that with your lemon trees. Yeah. You can do it with any fruit tree. I know sometimes when they do like apple and pear harvests and stuff, they'll do it like that too. Any fruit tree really, or like nuts. It's cool to watch. It's very satisfying. Very satisfying. I also wanted to mention, I just wanted to say something. I was looking up pictures of the storm earlier to see like the shape. Did you guys see the storm has big naturals? Have you seen this? Her name is Fern and she's got big naturals. Look at this. Dude. Did you guys see this? Brother. Whoa. This is an actual picture of Storm Fern. She's beautiful. She's gorgeous, dude. You wouldn't know her. She's Canadian.
Is she single?
Oh, I hope so. I don't know. She's dumping on a bunch of people soon, though. If you look like this, DM me. Look at her. Wowee. Those are balls. Yeah, I wasn't gonna bring it up, but I think now I will. There's something sticking out on the right side. There's something sticking out on the right side. Okay. You see on the upper right there? And I think this gives this shape a whole new identity.
No.
I think it gives it a new identity, okay? And, you know, not everything is as it seems, is all I'm saying. Don't ruin Fern's naturals for chat. Well, there's different types of big naturals, okay? And,
Nice cock. Perfect.
This is for real. This is for real. This is for real. The jet stream's dipping down and it's bringing all the Arctic air down, and it looks like this. It looks like this, dude. She's a he. We don't know. We don't know. They haven't told us. You don't know until they tell you, dude. Anyway, regardless of what they are, Fern is so beautiful. So beautiful. It looks like Italian hands. I don't know. Does it? Let me look back at it. Oh, kinda. Huh. You're not wrong, dude. As I look closer, you're not wrong. Okay. So we have some other options here, but I mean, how do we explain the well, we don't need to talk about it. Anyway, we're sponsored today. I'm gonna play Dynasty Warriors Origins.